Good evening. On behalf of Consecutivos, we welcome you on one more edition of MnemoConnect, one of the 5 live video series from Mnemo channel. Mnemo channel consists of 5 different activities in the form of live videos that alternate every Thursday, always at 7:30 p.m. Brasilia time zone. In Mnemo channel, we have Mnemo Bio, Mnemo Book, Mnemo Cast, Mnemo Science, and our MnemoConnect. And on MnemoConnect, we discuss conscientiologic subjects, especially those most related to Seriexology, through debates with our guests from the international cosmoethical conscientiological community. Tonight, we are going to talk about Holomemory and Paramemory, which are topics related to retrocognition and Seriexology. To debate with us tonight, we will have 3 guests that I will introduce after the opening. Stay with us. Our first guest is Lygia Decker. Lygia, welcome, Lygia.
Thank you, João Paulo. Hi, everyone.
Welcome. Lygia is graduated in veterinary medicine, master in preventive veterinary medicine, PhD in tropical veterinary medicine. Presently a retired university professor, bibliographer, introductor of conscientiology, Penta practitioner, co-author of the book Auto Verbatim, 101 bibliographers of the Encyclopedia of Conscientiology, volunteer of Consecutivos, Isaac and Reaprendencia, and currently a joint coordinator of the Invisible College of Pentology. So, a lot of things. She does a lot of things. Very productively. All right. Our second guest is Weber Takaki.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Weber is an IT analyst and researcher, has a degree in data processing, master's degree in electrical engineering and computing, and a doctoral degree in surgical sciences. Volunteer of Conscientiology since 2000, teacher since 2001, and Penta practitioner since 2004. Currently, a volunteer and a teacher at Consecutivos. Nice.
Thank you for the invitation, João Paulo. It's nice to be here with you.
And our third guest is Guilherme Kunz.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Guilherme is a PhD in mechanical engineering, conscientiology volunteer since 1997, conscientiology teacher since 2001, Epicon since 2017, co-organizer of the book The Manual of ECP2 in 2018, author of the book The Manual of Matasalcine in 2015, organizer of the book A Complementarium, First Decade in 2013. Good, welcome, Guilherme, again.
Thank you for the invitation, João Paulo.
And before we start, I'd like to ask you to click on the on the icon down below and subscribe to the Consecutivos channel of to see MnemoConnect and Mnemo channel in general. Every week we have a different topic to discuss. Okay, I am João Paulo Costa and hosting today. Please feel free to use the chat to leave a question, impression, and comment. All right. To begin, I'd like to ask you, our guests, to define somehow what is a holomemory and what is a paramemory, and what the relation between them.
Can I?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. So, holomemory, when we are talking about holomemory, we are talking about all kind of memory registry and perceptions of the consciousness, intraphysical talking or extraphysical talking, conscious and unconscious perceptions. And in the book from Professor Pedro Fernandes, he wrote in the book Seriexology, related with three types or subtypes of paramemory. The first one is internal paramemory, is the procedural information of the consciousness. Let's see, the cause of the temperament, the function of the matter to scene, the way of process information, and the internal paramemory is related with our intraconsciousliity. The second one is external paramemory, the way of interaction with the environment, thoughts, and related with the Seriac, and is related, the interests, and related with the extraconsciousliology, okay, the connection between the consciousness and the environment. And the last one, and I think is a main topic of our conversation in the night, in the slide, is an interdimensional paramemory, is related with the recording of parapsychic perceptions, the intermissive megaparavincle. Professor Lygia is right. Please help me. And multiple forms of manifestation, like clairvoyance and paraphenomena, different kind of paraphenomena, and the interaction between memories. This is the definition.
Yeah, I think we can say in a very simple way that holomemory includes all the memories we have. Yeah, and it's important to remind here that we are talking about the consensual paradigm. So we are based on the memories from all kinds of manifestations, from the four bodies, from our holosoma, from the soma, from energosoma, psychosoma, and mental soma, and also considering multiple dimensions. So the multidimensionality, and of course the series of lives, including the intraphysical lives and also the periods we spend in the extraphysical dimension between two lives, two intraphysical lives. So I would say that holomemory includes all. It's like our personal library, if we can say that. And paramemory we refer when we talk about extraphysical memories specifically. So one is part of another, and one interacts with another. And I think we will have the chance to talk more about these details and why it's important to start about our holomemory and paramemories. Yeah.
So it's like if we join, or if you take paramemory and physical memory, somehow we get closer to the holomemory. Of course, that the holomemory includes all the memories from past lives, from past bodies. So that is not included in our physical memory, in this necessarily included in our physical memory today, but they're all registered, they are all saved in our holomemory. But if we take this moment, it's like we are working and we are processing our thoughts and our identity and all that stuff that memory is memory allows us to have in the physical body, we should think of the physical memory, and the extra-physical perceptions and extra-physical experiences, we should think of the paramemory. So that's what I understand of the difference between paramemory as well in holomemory.
And you think the paramemory has a relation closer to the parabrain, or both have it? Know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I understand your question. I think that both have some connections with the parabrain, but the how would I say, the structure that holds the holomemory, we should think of the mental soma, because it encompasses all the memories, from all our experiences in the past. And once I'm thinking like paraphysiologically, because we have this assumption that we will eventually pass through the third desoma, or the deactivation of the psychosoma, and our memories will still remain. Our holomemory will still remain. So the parabrain is part of the psychosoma. So I think that the holomemory is the way we access the holomemory when we are in the extra-physical period, in the extra-physical world. It's through the paramemory, it's through the parabrain, but the headquarters of the holomemory, the support of the holomemory is not actually the parabrain, because when we go through the third desoma, when we pass through the third desoma, we still keep our consciential identity and all our holomemory. And the parabrain will be gone by then, but holomemory will still remain.
And well, I'm thinking about these subject about relating with the parabrain, and you think our memory is different between when we are conscious and when we are conscious, because we have the brain in between it. So maybe the dense body sometimes may be, how can I say, maybe difficult our access to the holomemory, don't you think?
Yeah, I think this has to do with the four vehicles. As a conscience, we have four vehicles. And when we are projected, for example, we have this coincidence, and this facilitates our access to the parabrain. So if we compare a conscience, I would think that a conscience would have better conditions to access the parabrain than somebody who has a physical body as a conscience, even when projected. Yeah. So I guess that this is the difference. I think it's the holosoma, is the condition to have the coincidence of these bodies. So we need to favor or facilitate the access of the parabrain somehow. And this coincidence is one way to do it. Yeah, to facilitate it at least. Yeah. So I think this is the basic difference in the conditions from a conscience and from a conscience.
I am thinking here in an example. I remember the energetic coupling, for example, when you are doing exercising clairvoyance, we are more disconnected from your physical body, And in this state, we can get a lot of informations related with consciences and energies and paraperceptions. But when we are getting, or we are in the finish of the exercise, we are more connected, and we are thinking more with your physical brain. We lose a lot of information. But if you come back to the same state, if you start again the discoincidence, your out-of-body experience, or disconnect your psychosoma from your physical body, you can remember everything. You don't lose the information, but it's difficult to we have a lot of it's difficult to download information from astrophysical experience to intraphysical states. But sometimes it's to me, sometimes it is like two different memories. I know this is not, but sometimes it's like that. Two memories, different memories, and you have to do some exercises and techniques to help us to get more or translation or download information and get a strong connection between these two kind of memories. But I am thinking here, energetic coupling, a good example about these difficulties that we have to connect the information between two brains, parabrain and physical brain.
I agree with that. And thinking about consciences again, sometimes we have difficulties to remember things in our lives, our intraphysical lives, this life. And sometimes maybe we maybe have as consciences, not as conscience out of body, but as consciences, maybe we will have difficulties to remember things of this life. Don't you think? Sometimes when sometimes things are so impressed in the physical body that it's in the holomemory theoretically, but when we are conscious in a more subtle condition, sometimes it's more difficult to access these facts. What do you think? Anyone?
I think this has to do with
I was
lucidity.
waiting my dog to stop barking.
Okay. No, I think
Yeah,
this
I was
point
waiting for my dog to stop barking. That's why.
Okay, I think he understood it. No, I was saying that I think it depends very much the level of lucidity we have. Because the big challenge is exactly to make this download, to bring information from the parabrain to our physical memory. And while Guilherme was talking, I was thinking about my condition. I very often, I see myself projected. I know I'm totally lucid. I know what I'm doing, with whom I'm interacting, and I know what's going on. But then when I return to this physical body, it's like everything is lost. So I think this is the challenge we all have, to make sure that we are able to make this downloading process and to be lucid the whole time, not only when we are projected, but to keep this level of lucidity here during our daily life, our normal life. And there are ways to improve or to exercise, I think, memory. And this is also important as we develop strategies to improve our memory at the intraphysical level. We automatically improve the condition when we are at the extraphysical dimension. If you know what I mean, we are consciousness manifesting different dimensions. So we are not going to manifest in a different way. So the more lucid we are at this dimension, with everything, with small details, when I drive, when I go work, or when I care for my plants, if I'm lucid about what I'm doing, it's more likely, or at least I think it will be more likely to be lucid at the extra-physical dimension and to keep these memories, to register in my parabrain and to facilitate this downloading process.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And
I think I'd like to add, just to make a quick comment.
carry on.
I understand what Lygia says, because the most lucid experiences I had when I was out of the body, when I returned, when I reconnected to the body, it felt like it was a dream. Although while I was out of the body, I was completely aware of what were going on. I was aware that I was a conscient, lucid in the extra-physical dimension, and I felt returning to the body, to my body. And then when I, regained the control of the body, it all felt like it was imagination or some sort of a dream. So I think that our memories are very complex. Even if we, for instance, if you look to the screen of the computer, the main information is visual, but the roots of this memory, when we record that memory, it's complete with all the senses that we are actually that we all have in this moment. So it encompasses, it includes the memories that we have that are auditive, from our touch, and if we are tasting something, it all and all the ideas that we're having in that moment. So it makes a very complex net of connections that even if we think that it's mainly visual, it's much more complex than that. So that's one of the things that I understand, that when we are out of the body and then we bring that memory, it feels like if it's strange, or it feels like if it's imagination or a dream. It's because there is this lack of connections with the bodily sensors, the sensors and the senses that we have in our body. So if we think the opposite way, I think there is this possibility, although I don't have an answer, sure answer for that, but because the senses that we have in our extra-physical body, in our psychosome, are different from the senses that we have in our physical body. They are all integrated when we are like coincident in this moment, when we are aware in this interphysical dimension. But because the senses are different, I think that the same situation may happen when we are extra-physically, manifesting ourselves extra-physically as consciences, because we lack that information. The memories that we have from our body, have this complexity of the senses that we have in our physical body. But when we are out of the body, without this body, the physical body, the connections of our memories in the net that forms in our parabrain are very likely different. So it may feel like something that is a little bit, like dreamy or something like that. So that's why I think that I agree with you that it's possible that when we are as extra-physical consciousnesses, we may have, some difficulties remembering things or accessing information or details from our physical experiences.
The challenge is live 50-50, not so not much connection, not all in physical body, but live with good attention in astrophysical events or in interphysical inputs too. But I would like to talk about the inputs. Is very important to memories. Inputs it's a kind of trigger to remember something, like the smell of the taste and so on. And I was thinking here, for example, if I would like to, comparing conscience and consex, if I would like to remember a past life, I can get an old object. This is a new object, but imagine an old one from centuries ago. And is to me, for example, is not so easy to transform that object in a whole pack of inputs. For example, you have the sensitive, some sense, some inputs, but not so much. But imagine a consex that in a consex behavior you can change whole the ambient, the behavior, the environment. You can change all the environment. You can reconstruct all the environment, so you can a very good kind of, you can create a very good place or environment to have a lot of inputs to help you to remember something about you in the past life. So to consex, I think is in consex states is easier to remember something about the past, about the interphysical life too, if you compare with conscience, for example, that you have when you are in this state of conscience, you have a limited kind of or types of inputs. No? We don't have so much inputs, and consex have a lot of inputs. You can change more things in the environment to help you to remember. I think that it could be a one of the types of para-technological things that we have access in the intermissive course, for example. I don't know, to help you to remember something important to you. But this, I think, this is one of the is a difference between conscience and consex to remember.
Yeah. And don't you guys think that we have thoughts, fantasies, dreams, whatever that we can, mix up with real memories, and sometimes when we have a thought of something, when we have a more emotional connection, it means that is a retrocognition, for example, and these can differentiate between a thought, a fantasy, and a memory itself. Don't you think?
Yes, that's a phenomenon that happens with our memory, physical memory as well. That's very, very hard to answer that question, because our memories are changing every time we revisit the memory, and we can add some connections to that memory, and that can lead to these false memories and stuff like that. I think that it's not possible to avoid this situation completely, or to impede that things to happen, because I think it's also part of the process of the evolutionary process to to give new meanings to past experiences, and this frontier between what is healthy way of adding information or adding connections to the memories, and to bring some information that are actually fantasy, and instead of giving us more awareness, it leads us to some sort of blindness in terms of what is real and what is not. I think that this limit is very, very thin and very subtle. But I think that the intention of the person and the consciousness when thinking of the past and thinking of memories, I think it's very important. We as the more we search for and we accept what is true and what is real, the better for our memory. And if we try to avoid, if something that is, and usually when we have a strong an intense emotional connection to some memory, I think that when it's hard to remain aware and to remain focused on what was real and was not, and so it's very easy for us to stray from what is real to some fantasy, some sort of fantasy. But it all requires self-knowledge, self-research, and the search for self-improvement, I think. So it's not, I'm not sure if I answered the question, but
No, that's fine. That's fine.
May I add something? Because I think regarding the memories, not only this fact that every time we revisit one memory, let's say, we try to create a story to make sense in our brain. So this is a problem. But also, I think every one of us has some particularities, some singularities, backgrounds, different backgrounds. I was thinking about, for example, when we share memories in a family, for example, in our family, one event happened, but everyone has a way to remember. Everyone remembers the event in a different way. And sometimes it's quite different. I remember talking to my sisters about one event, and it was completely different in my mind, because we had different ages and different parabrains, of course. So we have to consider also these interactions, this group memory or the collective memory also brings something in the context of our own memories. So the whole time we are in this puzzle, we are bringing small pieces, and we have to be patient. We have to wait the layers of memories to come to make sense sometimes. We should not try to understand the story, especially in retrocognitions. Sometimes we are very anxious to understand the experience and to make, to join the points and to make a story, but sometimes this requires a long research or time to maturate this experience and to combine other elements. And that's why we have many times false memories. We create things which are far away from the reality. So it's always important to pay attention to all these aspects of memory also.
Lygia brought up a very good point about these false memories, or when we are at the same place at the same time with other people, and every and each one has a different interpretation of the facts. And someone wants to talk something. I want to make a question about these, but someone wants to talk, right? I don't know who's it.
I was just going to say that it's always a good idea to share our memories, to contrast with the others' memories, and when we think of retrocognitions, it's always good to contrast the memories with the facts, because there must be some way of testing our memories, or to check if the memory has some connection with the reality, or if it's has some sort of distortion.
And we lose most of time of our observations about the reality because of the memory is not perfect. We lose something close to 70% of our observations, and we can't retain all information. And talk about this is very important to complete and to get a strong memory. For example, if you can retain some information, as many times you use it, is you're getting a strong connection, a strong association related with your memory, and you help you to don't lose more about the past events. I'm remembering here a situation difficult to remember, and most of the time we can do some mistakes when we are talking about close experience. For example, travel. I did a travel to the same place 2 times. A short time, you don't need much time to forget something. In a short time, you can have some difficulties to separate these 2 different experiences, because these experiences are very close. You are in the holidays and traveling some place. We can some researchers talk this kind of about this kind of experience, because our brain is working like in the same state or close states of the brain. So it's very easy to do mistakes between very close experience in the past.
Yeah, that's right. And how you think we can improve our memory? Uh, to begin with, the intraphysical memory, and to go beyond and go as far back as we can and as lucid as we can with our paramemory.
Yes, I think that everything that we do that is beneficial to our physical memory should be beneficial to our holomemory as well, and to the paramemory as well. If we think that we consider that the psychosoma is the biological organizing model of our soma. So if we study our memory, physical memory, and it works in some way, it's probably because it inherited this way of functioning from our parabrain. So if we improve our physical memory, and probably the same techniques that we use in the same activities or habits that we have to improve our physical memory, we will also improve our paramemory and our holomemory.
Yeah. I would say, well, there are many ways, I think, but self-organization, for example, I think it's very important, to have an organized life, to have an agenda, to follow a structure of things you need to do, to make lists. I think it's something also helping with the memory. I mentioned about social interactions, because this is always a challenge. When you interact with people, you have to recall names, situations. Also to pay attention to details. As you develop these aspects, you improve your memory. So to keep dates, to keep details about things, numbers, I think it's a good exercise. Addresses, for example, things that normally you don't pay too much attention. And I would say also writing. Writing is a very important thing. And as we write, we develop a lot of skills, and we, in a way, we help to register things in our parabrain, I think. So writing is, for me, a very important habit. If you do it every day, when you stop, you miss something. So writing and self-research, I think it's also, yeah. Every time we search for something, you are like challenging your brain and automatically your power brain. So I would say in general, these aspects which come to my mind now, but I'm sure there are many others.
Yes,
Because we use our memory all the time. We are always using our memory in our daily life. And so to make good use of these abilities and to develop more and more these aspects of our memory.
I am remembering here some things important to our physical memory, like drink water a lot,
Yes. Yes.
sleep well, and do exercises, and read too, right? Of course. And I am remembering here a technique that I use to remember astrophysical experiments that get attention in the main topic about the experience and get one information, but in a forced to remember one the main information about related with experience, astrophysical experience. And one time I do it, it's easy to me to remember all the experience using this trigger, this main fact, main idea related with the experience, and this is a kind of trigger to remember all the experience. And as Professor Lygia was talking in the beginning of this live, attention is all what we need. So get attention in all the things, get attention, stay alert and lucid for everything we are doing is a good way to record in a good way our memories and facts of the day, and astrophysical facts too.
Yeah, it sometimes it's like a talent that we haven't don't know it. I mean, maybe if I draw or I saw or do something that I haven't done in this life yet, and when I do, I see this as a talent. It means that I have something in me that I know how to do it. It's not the first time I'm doing it. It's a kind of um, rich somehow our paramemory, don't you think? Or some points of the paramemory when we have a strong trait, for example, something that was developed life after life and now is a strong trait because we exercise, but we are not 100% conscious of that talent. But when we try to do something, right, we do easier than we thought. Sometimes it's a kind of memory we COVID.
Yeah, I understand that the source of this talent, or this information is our power brain, is our power memory. Although I also understand that we inherit some abilities that we are not aware of from our genitors. From our genitors is something else. Sorry, from our parents. Um, uh, in some inheritance that we get from the cultural the culture of the family, family culture. I think that there are many different talents that are not sometimes visible to others. That those talents and those abilities were not inherited by our parents, from our parents, or from our environment. It's something that we inherit from ourselves. And the source of this inheritance, of this this information, is the power memory and the power brain. I understand. I think.
I think this has to do with the paragenetics. Yeah, what we bring from other lives, from many lives, we had the chance to develop some attributes, some talents, and sometimes we don't pay attention to them now, but they are really rooted things. Yeah, they are from I don't know how many lives. Yeah. So this is a good aspect about memory. I think they have to do a lot with our traits. Yeah, both strong traits and also weak traits. Yeah? Things that we are always try to forget or try to not to give attention or to improve. This has to do with memory, of course, and paramemory and parabrain. Yeah.
Cool. And before we go to the next question, I would like to do a merchandise, but I will leave you with one question, and I will do the announcement here. And you think, and after we talk about this topic, and the topic is about the cons, the 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 lucid measure points of lucidity, which you call cons. How can we recover it? You know what I mean? With the access of our holomemory and paramemory. How can we do this or improve or go in this direction? Okay, and you think about it, and I will talk about our course we will have in December. And oh, there it is. All right, it's our course called Holokarmic Self-Research with Professor Pedro Fernandes on the 2 and 3 of December of this year. It's an online course and costs 250 reais. And any other information and to join, go to our website of Consecutivos. All right, and it's going to be 2 and 3 of December, and it's going to be fully online. All right, so let's go back to our question about cons. How can we access or download maybe our cons, our units of lucidity that sometimes we don't access easily when we are conscious, and how can we, can grab some, if you know what I mean?
Well, I think that we need to challenge ourselves, try to, try to have new experiences. I think that it's important to balance, the sources of interests, because we may, for instance, it's not, the idea is not to start trying or having all sorts of experiences without any, any criterion. But the idea is to actually try to challenge ourselves to do new things, or to, new activities, or, somehow expand our possibilities in terms of activities, in terms of expression. I think that by doing that, we can stimulate or to trigger those memories and to allow us to recover those cons, those lucidity points.
Measure units. Measure units.
Yeah, but also by exercising our parapsychism, So the parapsychic experiences are, a very good source of access of information, or to a way of reconnecting to our extra-physical roots, and to access these experiences and these memories, and this lucidity units that we have in some way asleep in our holomemory.
Because it's funny, because it belongs to us, but it's hard to recover it. That's the thing. So it's,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
the more we identify ourselves with our body, the more we restrict access to those extra-physical calms.
In my point of view, we always have to think about memory intraphysically, but never ever get away from the idea that we are more than that. Our memory is much more than that. So I think maybe if you allow me, when we think about improve our access to cons and paramemory, I think we always have to think about our memory, exercise our memory, and thinking that it goes, far beyond that. So we can, do both, exercise our intraphysical memory and exercise our extraphysical or paramemory at the same time. That's the thing.
So if you think our memory as a brain state, and a good way to recover some informations like cons is to reply the same states. As Professor Weber said, you must do something new, and volunteer works is a very tool to it, because it's possible to do a lot of different things, that are professional or job, and one thing that I think is difficult to most of people is the mental flexibility to permit or to live different kind of states to your brain. So people that are not flexible in thoughts, I think they will have more difficult to recover this kind of information like a cons. Because if you think our memories like a brain state, a whole packet, not only a piece of information. And I think this is important to recover more information about our past.
Yeah, and I think as we go along with the self-research, for example, dealing with some consentiometric variables, we automatically recover these cons, because it's in a way, I think we tend to have an image about ourselves, yeah. And when we start really to understand who we are, what we have in terms of interconsentiality. So bringing now to the seriexological approach, when we start our seriometric variables, temperament, matatosine, strong traits, weak traits, then automatically we recover some cons, because we are going into your infraconsentiality, and this is you, this is your reality, not something created or not something very much influenced by the environment or even from the genetics, from this family, from this life, which is not yourself actually. Yeah. So I think recovery of cons has to do with this disposal to understand who you are. to go into your interconscientiality and to deal with the things which are really singular to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think it's a good approach. Huh? And the good point in conscientiology is that we have a lot of techniques. So you can choose between among several possibilities. I mentioned conscienciogram, but of course, any self-research, seriexological research is very rich in terms of showing our past, bringing up things from our past and from our memories, from our parabrain. Sometimes we don't give much attention to one place you go, you visit. So one perception, for example, you have in a place. So what was there that called you memories from your past? Yeah, it can be very simple things. The way you walk, the way you, or one object you buy, or one person you meet, or one way you make different from everyday way. Sometimes you find a trigger, something to call your attention to one aspect of your memory. So I think self-research is a very important tool and gives us the opportunity to recover a lot of points. Yeah.
And again, comparing with our intraphysical memory, it's common, it's normal when old people have the degenerative disease, degeneration of the brain, it's a pathology, and sometimes these people can remember things far behind from his infancy or toddlerhood, but can't remember things more recent. And this might happen with us too in terms of seriexity, because sometimes we can remember things far back away, centuries ago, and we cannot remember things from our last intermediate course. And why this happen and how can this happen? I know it's a difficult question, but do you have a sparkle of this? How this can happen? I have a guess, because something in the past sometimes we thought more, and these make engrams or did a more strong mark in our synapses or parasynapses, and that's why maybe we are more familiar with these memories than with the recent memories. It's a theory.
I think that when we think of healthy retrocognitions and healthy situations, Egypt situations, I think that it's easier. Sometimes it's easier to remember remote lives than more recent previous lives, because of the level of the intensity of our emotional experiences. As a hypothesis, as the more we move towards the past, I think that the more rough and hard were our days in the past. So probably the emotional charges and emotional stress was probably stronger than recent lives. But while I'm saying that, because, for instance, when we think of those pathological situations when the new concept or the newborn conscience didn't pass through the second soma, it apparently favors recent memories from the previous life, from the immediate previous life. There is this study from Dr. Ian Stevenson, and that recorded cases of children that remember past lives and actually had birthmarks that were related to past experiences in the recent past life. So apparently those children didn't go through the second soma. So they were born, they resonated in this new life, still with a strong charge of the energies of the previous energosoma, the previous the energies of the last life. So the connection between this present life and the previous life was so strong that they remembered events of the past life, or the immediate past life. So they're not, past remote lives. So that's why I think that when we think of healthy retrocognitions, it's probably easier to remember those remote lives because if we think of healthy process, we go through the second soma and we, as cut this connection with the more recent life by going through the second soma and having this time in the extra physical period to to prepare this new life and to get more benefits from this new resoma, and also because of this as a hypothesis that remote lives were more stressful and more prone to traumas and emotional stress.
Any other guess?
My opinion, yeah.
It's a theory, complex theory. It's a fact that we don't really know in reality. Sorry, go on, Lygia. Sorry.
No, I was just thinking about also some situations. For example, we call intermissive scolding, spreg, intermissive spreg, yeah? Maybe this also can affect the access of some memories. So it's something that it's very impacted, yeah? It's very, this is a paratechnique used by the helpers, yeah, to shock us in a way during the intermissive period, aiming to have, to improve our perspectives in terms of our projects, our new life. But sometimes I think some people can be very much affected by some experiences, from extra-physical experiences. So maybe to access some memories is not so easy. Yeah, it's like too much impact or too much, it's very hard to access some memories. So it's a kind of defense, or the person tries not to access some memories because it's not so easy to deal with some situations, So I just thought about other situations apart from this one Weber did bring before. Maybe even intermissivists, yeah, people who attended a course before resonating, they planned one proaxis, but there are some aspects they have to prioritize, and this is a bit difficult in the first moment. So you need time, you need maturity to manage and to face some of the aspects of this condition.
You mean that might be a defensive mechanism, natural one?
Yeah, maybe. Because, I mean, we have to think about why is it important to access our memory from past lives. Yeah, it's not just to know, oh, I did this, or I was Mrs. X,
It's
or
not for fun. It's not for
no,
fun.
it's not for fun. Yeah, there should be a good reason, and normally this has to do with our evolution, with interexistentiality, and to help others, to help ourselves, going on with our evolution, and also to help others, interassistance. So we have to be prepared for it. It's not so easy sometimes to face, strong situations or extreme situations. Yeah. So we need maturity. We need to go step by step, let's say.
And if I remember, there was one time when Professor Waldo told us that in the in terms of course, we didn't care much about past lives and recognition and memory and all these things we study so hard today. And he said that, and we can think that maybe today and or nowadays we care more about that. Don't you think in some points we are better in terms of memory than when we were as conscientious in the last course in terms of some points, not every day. Some points. That's all.
João, can I add a topic in the last question?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. First of all, it's very important to us to remember our past because we use our past to plan the future. And we need our past experience to plan what we are doing tomorrow, for example. But I think a little different. Another point of view about the difficulty to remember recent lives. To me, for example, in my case, to me, easiest to remember recent lives than former lives. But I think that it's difficult to most of people because the lives are very similar. Similar experience are difficult to most of time. I believe that some people have recognition and don't get attention about this because we are doing a trivial thing. And if you remember that you were with a sword in hand in war, it's obvious that you are having a retrocognition. So I know emotions and stress is very important to get strong memories, but sometimes when you remember things very different from today, it's easier to get that it was a recognition. But understand the emotion and stress is directly connection with the memories. Is a different point of view. Maybe we can do a merge about these different points.
It's complementary. Yeah.
Complementary.
Yeah.
I would add one more point: repetition. You understand? A part of emotions and stress, repetition, things we do often. It starts to make it very vivid in our brains and our memories. Don't you think?
Yeah, agree.
And coming back to that thing about the how much the memory value for us nowadays, maybe for most of us more than when we were conscious in the last interpretive period. Don't you think there's some points that we that have a better paramemory as conscious now than when we were conscious before born? this life?
I think that we are certainly more prepared today to face and to access memories, past memories. I think that we have, some work done that help us to be more, receptive to the accessing memories from our paramemory or holomemory. But I think it's hard to say that we have better memories now than we had during the extraphysical intermissive period. I understand that when we were, preparing our, this proaxis, we were more worried and more concerned about other things than accessing, memories from the past. But I think that probably we were trying to do the assistance that was necessary for us to, once we are in this life, to be able to develop our praxis, some way, with some success. So I think that it's because of what was priority when we were back then and what is priority now. I think that we advanced a little bit as a community, as a as a group, that allow us to deepen the understanding and to deepen the study of all these topics of holomemory, paramemory, and Seriexology. And in this way, collectively, I think we are better. We're more, we have more tools and more information to take advantage of these experiences that we had in the past. But it's the way I understand, the way I think. That's a hypothesis. I don't have memories to support this. Memories from my intermissive period to support this. It's just by the accounts of Professor Valdo and from the things that we discuss among us.
He just said that we care more about this in the last course in terms of I am just fill you up with that, with these kind of affirmative, but it's not. I'm not sure about that. About the affirmative that we have better memories stronger than before. That's only speculative.
No, what I just want to add something. I think today in this life we have better tools and better conditions to build up better memories. Yeah, and this, of course, this is a dynamic process. And but I doubt if now I have a better memory than during the intermissive course or during the intermissive period. As a consequence, I would expect I had a better condition to access my paramemories, especially if I had the support from evolutiologists and helpers, particularly in building and planning the proaxis. I think this is natural at the extraphysical dimension, to have better access or to access important information from our holobiography in order to plan, in which family to reborn and where, in which geopolitical conditions and, all this. But I agree that now, especially because of the group, we are now building up maxi proaxis. We are all working or bringing a bit of our conscientiality to build up a bigger proaxis, group proaxis. So I fully agree that these memories we have now, we are constructing now, who should be very important in the next lives, yeah, for the next intermission and for the next works we need to do.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. To plan the future is very important to us to get good memories and details about our past lives. If mainly when we are talking about the planning our proaxis. And nowadays, I understand the idea, but I think it's hard because the physical body is difficult to use, and most of time we are working with energies and out of bar experience and dynamics and cards, etc. But we have some gaps between astrophysical state, intraphysical state, and this is it can create some difficulty to our. It's not a continuum paramemory. We have some gaps because we are using sometimes our physical body and sometimes not. So because of this, I think it is harder if you compare to our intermissive course or intermissive periods.
And there is a threat on that because we have gaps and the things we remember, and our brain naturally want to fill out these gaps. And this is the problem. Sometimes we remember one thing and another thing, and we wish to connect to them. And that's the danger. Sometimes we don't, we just feel it. Our brain naturally want to find a connection between memories, and we are not sure if it's a memory or a desire or a dream or a fantasy or whatever. This is sometimes it's a it's an area that we are not really um, secure and sure to walk over it.
Yeah,
All right.
that's
Oh,
nice
sorry.
to have. That's nice to have someone lucid beside us to help us to see the reality the way it is, right?
I count on my friends.
Yep, me too.
All right. And one last question, and just to finish our meeting today, uh, how can we really pinpoint now that maybe help us to remember these life, the functional things, the good things we do now that we can pinpoint and fix in our hollow memory for later, for the next lives and next periods. How can we do this?
Register the experience to write. It's a good way to exercise the memory and to leave a physical record of what we learned.
Yeah, I think this is one of the reasons Walter Vieira always asked, where is the book? Yeah, because the personal book, I think it's, a very valuable resource we can produce in this life as a consigne to be used in the next intermission and to, to speed up our evolutionary process. So I agree that writing is one of the most efficient ways to keep our memory active. Yeah. I would say this what we call GESCON, the book, the personal book, yeah, or at least the first, the second, and so on, until you have the mega GESCON. I think it's a good strategy. But of course, everyone has to evaluate his or her personal needs. Yeah, I can understand that for some people can be something, complementary, and maybe the priority is to develop parapsychism, or I think it's very personal. It's very individual. But I think the book, comes to many of us, because to write about the consensual paradigm under the perspective of the consensual paradigm, I think, at least for me, this is the first time I'm doing this. Yeah, so these memories and this process of registering is really very important and very relevant for my para-brain and my para-memories, I'm sure.
I would like to add only a little point is I agree 100%, write, publish, and talk a lot about your book in every places as you can.
Very good. João Paulo, are you still with us?
It's freezing.
Guilherme, are you there?
Yeah,
we
are all here.
Oh, sorry. I think this. All right, that's something a breakdown connection for me at least. So unfortunately, we are up to our time, and I'd like to thank our guests for coming and sharing their knowledge and thoughts with us. We appreciate very much. And finally, we'd like to hear if you three have anything else to add before we finish, to add about the memory, holomemory, the things we thought, or anything you want to add for the final consideration.
Well, I think that it was a very interesting debate. The topic is not an easy one, and it's a challenge for us. We know a lot theoretically, and we have some experience, but we don't fully understand all the intricacies of holomemory and paramemory yet. But I think it's important. It was a very nice debate, and I thank you for the debate, for sharing the ideas, and for this opportunity.
Me too. I would like to say thank you very much. I think it was very interesting, the debate. And I just want to finish by reinforce this idea about the registration and the collection of data. I think the accumulation of data is the most important aspect to reach this reality, to reach authenticity. Yeah. So, and also to confront things. Yeah. I always remember one sentence from Walter Vieira again. He always said, "Don't trust your brain." Our brain is always very small, and I would say very limited. So when we talk about holomemory, paramemory, we have to think bigger, yeah, and challenge your brain and make all the possible notes and register things. Don't trust your brain. And thank you very much. It was really nice to be here tonight.
I'd like to thank you, everyone, for the invitation, and invite everyone to write and publish their experience to improve your memory and do a lot of helps to everyone in the future.
All right, and thank you, our guests, and thank you all that watching from YouTube and Facebook. We hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to click on the like icon and to subscribe to Consecutivos channel down below. And I hope you all had a good time and good reflections. MnemoConnect is live every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Brasilia time zone, with one of the 5 different channels inside. See you next time on MnemoConnect connection, and bye-bye. See you later.